So, Legends of Tomorrow, Season 6, Episode 8 airs tonight, which is an episode starring David Ramsey, who's not playing Diggle, but he's playing a version of Diggle. And so I thought this was a perfect time to make a video on something that I'm actually really happy about. And it's the fact that I am genuinely really enjoying Legends of Tomorrow Season 6 this season. I was not a fan of Season 4 and Season 5, but Season 6 is kind of bringing back everything I really liked about the show. I thought Season 1 was an alright start to the show. I thought a lot of pieces were in place for the show to be great later on. Then Season 2 is one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen. That is no joke. I am such a fan of that season. I think the villains, the characters, the writing, the fact that they were able to mesh some goofiness with genuine seriousness was something that the rest of the show just hasn't been able to do yet. Like, Season 1 was too serious, Season 2 was just the perfect amount. Season 3 still kind of had the seriousness and goofiness, but I felt that it wasn't to the level that Season 2 got it to, whereas with Season 4 and 5, I just felt they dialed the seriousness far too up to where I just didn't really have a lot of what I liked about the show anymore happening. But with Season 6, I feel like they've started to bring back that great blend of both serious and goofiness, and that's thanks to the villains, that's thanks to the writing. One thing that I feel like I haven't seen a lot of people talk about is the fact that these episodes this season are being intertwined very well. Like, a lot of the episodes are actually happening concurrently, and we only find out later on. Like, there's a couple episodes in the middle so far, of the middle of the episodes we've had so far. Like, I think it was episode 3, 4, and 5 it might have been, maybe 6 as well, where it's all just happening together. Like, we have the main Legends team out in Cuba, we have John Constantine and Astra in the next episode doing something while the Legends team are out in Cuba. Then that all connects that story together. Then the very following episode, after they've been talking about where Mick is for ages, we see Mick show up in Bishop's Planet or wherever it's called, and it just was a really great way to show that all of this stuff is happening together. And I think that it shows that they've concentrated more on the writing, that they've put more effort into it, and I think that honestly COVID might have played a part in that, where they now have more time to spend writing the episodes, and so they were able to do something like this, which just feels smart, honestly. So huge respect to them there. And the villain, who is Bishop this season, is easily the most interesting villain we've had since at least Season 3, when Damien Darhk was still like a main villain in Season 3. Bishop is, to me, the most interesting since then. I would say, if we don't count Damien Darhk as like the main villain of Season 3, I would say then the Bishop is the best main villain other than the Legion of Doom in Season 2. Now maybe that could change because we still have like another, I don't know how many episodes are in the season. I think there's 15 maybe, but we have a fair few episodes left anyway, and I think that it'll be pretty cool to see what they do with them. Now maybe in the back half they will, you know, kind of make him worse or make him not as great as he is. But I think at the moment, while he still has that kind of charismatic fun to him that a lot of the other Legends villains have had, he also has a very underlying seriousness. Like, I feel like he's a villain who could snap and turn into somebody who's terrifying instantly, which is something that's really good. On top of Bishop, aliens are now a part of this season, and they're pretty much kind of, aliens in space is like the main sort of plot for this season, I guess, and that's a really welcome change in my opinion, because the last like 4 seasons, not 4 seasons, last, I want to say 3 seasons maybe, have all been very magic focused and supernatural focused, and while that's cool, I feel like doing it that many times in a row makes it a little bit annoying to watch, or makes it a little bit, I guess, not as interesting as it could be. But on top of that, I've never really been a fan of supernatural and magic stuff. I always kind of prefer full-on sci-fi, space, time travel, stuff like that. So bringing aliens in is a really welcome change there, and it also makes this season stand out. It makes the season unique. Season 1 is pretty much the only other season I can think of that actually kind of did some alien stuff in terms of, or not alien stuff, like space stuff, in terms of how the episode when, for example, the Waverider was trapped out in the middle of space and then they got attacked by pirates and stuff like that. I feel like that this season feels a lot like that, which I really appreciate. On top of that, this season feels the most connected to the Arrowverse since probably Season 3. Now, I know that obviously they've still been doing crossovers and stuff, we've got references here and there, but it feels like after Season 3, the show really just wanted to separate itself as much as possible from the other stuff. But between David Ramsey showing up next episode, and between the fact that the very first episode of the season had them delve into the DEO and what happened in Supergirl, that was really interesting. That was a nice little connection that we don't get a lot very much anymore, so respect to them there. Plus, I mean, one of the things I was kind of nervous about going into this season is, since it's about aliens, I was kind of worried that they weren't going to address the DEO at all, considering they're on Earth Prime now, and the DEO are the ones who would be you know, all about this. So it was cool that they were like, well, the DEO's gone now because of what happened in Supergirl season 5 final, so we can't get in touch with them. That was really cool as well. Now, Sara has been given a very interesting storyline this season, and it's really playing into her strengths, her history, all of that sort of stuff, and as well as Ava. It feels like there's some plot points that haven't been really touched in years are now being brought up and resurfaced again, and that's really cool. It again is a testament to the writing and shows that they have been concentrating on making the writing a lot better this season, so respect to them there. And I also feel like the show's plot is actually making a good amount of track, or I mean, it's moving forward in a way that it hasn't really been in a while, because obviously we've gotten plot developments in season 4 and 5, but it didn't really feel like they were important. But what's happening this season, like with the clones and all that, and Sara possibly being a clone, or Sara being and not the original Sara, is something that I feel like this is something that really could be bad in the long run. Like, this could end up being a little bit of an annoying thing, or not annoying, I guess it could end up being a little bit frustrating for long-time Sara fans, but I think at the moment they're handling it very well. Then we had a new addition to the cast this year, which is Spooner, and she's one of the more casual introductions to the show, because normally the show has a habit of forcing the new characters on you. It'll introduce a bunch of characters at once and then kind of very much be like, look, like these characters, here you go, we're going to keep throwing them at you until you like them, we're going to keep putting them in episodes until you like them. That's pretty much what happened with both Mona and Gary, and I feel like that's the reason why a lot of people are a little bit iffy on their characters, is because they were very much forced on the viewer, and they were kind of like said, look, these characters are sticking around, so you better get to like them. With Spooner, however, she feels like much more of a natural addition to the crew. It doesn't feel like the writers are trying to throw her in our face. It feels like she's just blending in. It's kind of like, I guess, a Nate or an Amaya, where it feels like, you know, there's a reason why she's here, rather than just a new wacky character they're trying to throw onto us. So I really do appreciate that. And Bayrod, now, he's the one character this season who I'm really not a fan of. I feel like the writers don't know what to do with him, because his whole thing at the moment is just that he's a stoner and he likes to smoke weed a lot. That's pretty much all that he's been doing all season. I feel like if there's going to be one weakness at the end of the year, I feel like Bayrod is going to be a huge weakness to what the show is. And honestly, it's getting to the point where I really would not care if he got written off. I actually probably would prefer it if he got written off, or they did something that got rid of his character, because it's just a bit weird what they're doing. Mick has been absent a lot, but he's had some absolutely great stuff, and the Mick and Sara stuff in episodes 6 and 7 are some of the closest stuff to season 2 we've had in a while. I feel like because they're the final OGs, the writers are really trying to give them some stuff, especially since Mick will be leaving. I think it's the end of this season he's leaving. So yeah, there's also hints at the original Zari returning, which is great, and overall this season seems to be heading back in a positive direction, and I'm really hoping the back half can keep this up, because I'm really a fan of what they're doing at the moment. And if Legends was able to kind of be this consistent again, it would mean that really Flash is the only current Arrowverse show that isn't doing its job, in my opinion, or isn't keeping up what it should be doing. So yeah, how are you feeling about Legends of Tomorrow this season? Are you liking it? Are you hating it? And if you enjoy this video, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and all of that. And I hope you have an amazing day.